All right, it says that we are live, and I'm just going to wait a moment to make sure that we can see us on the screen because there is a delay on YouTube. And if there's anyone in the chat, if they could just say hi and let us know if they can see us or hear us. All right, and so we are going to begin, and I'm going to start off with Gray. Kick us off.
Yes. Hi, welcome to nAGLY Live.
What is nAGLY? We're a youth-run group in Salem, Mass. For LGBTQ youth. Please check us out at nagly.org. So many people have expressed how much they love our group, so we decided to go virtual. Think of us as a digital GSA, but we also have a home base.
So nAGLY Live is every other Thursday from 7 to 8 or whenever we feel like rambling on. And if you feel like that 1 hour is not enough for you, you can catch us on our social media, other social media outlets. We're on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter with the username North Shore nAGLY. That's all one word. Somebody had to name their kid nAGLY, so we have to use the name North Shore nAGLY. I will put the links in the chat, and also please take the time to like this video and subscribe to our channels. We are currently trying to get 100 subscribers so that way we can have a custom URL.
And we're going to start off with some quick guidelines before we get into our content. Our target audience are youth ages between 10 and 18. All content will be anonymous and we won't be using real names. Zero tolerance in the chat. You'll be banned for being mean. So if it's not nice, don't say it. This is PG-13 with occasional cursing, but never at each other or directed at a person. And no copyright content will be shared.
All right, so here's a little disclaimer. We'll be covering some topics that some viewers may find sensitive or uncomfortable. The views of individuals featured in our live sessions aren't necessarily a full representation of nAGLY's thoughts and opinions. With that being said, viewer discretion is advised. Don't sue us. None of us are trained social workers. We somehow made it to adulthood. We are speaking from experience.
All right, and we're going to start off with intros. So my name is Mia. I am 31 years young. My pronouns are she, her, and hers, and I am an adult advisor at nAGLY.
And my name is Gray. I use he, him, or they, them pronouns. I'm 30 years old, and I am a social work intern at nAGLY this year.
My name is Jess. I use she, her, and hers as pronouns. I'm 26 years old, and I'm an adult advisor at nAGLY.
Okay, awesome. And now we're going to kick it off to our qualifications. So in terms of the LGBTQ community, I feel like I represent the L for the lesbian community.
And I represent the T and the Q for trans and queer.
And I represent the B for bisexual or pansexual.
Awesome. Great. So we're going to get started for our topics tonight. Just so everyone knows in the chat, we want it to be super interactive. So it's going to be like interview style. We're going to ask each other questions and feel free to answer them in the chat. We're going to be speaking to you in the chat as well. So we're going to talk about New Year's. It's 2019. Yay! So I wanted to start off by talking about New Year's Eve specifically. So Jess, do you want to tell us, like, what did you end up doing on New Year's Eve?
Okay, so I hung out with a few friends on New Year's Eve. We stayed in pretty much, which was cool. And yeah, that's pretty much what I did. We like played games and stuff. It was a good time overall. Yeah, it was good.
That's great. Great. How about yourself?
I went to one of my old roommates' houses. She is always a big New Year's Eve party thrower. So I went to her place and hung out with her roommates and her friends and lots of our friends as well. And ate food and played games and listened to music. It was a good time. How about you?
Oh, that's awesome. It's great to always be, like around, good people and have good company. So I stayed at home. It was raining on New Year's Eve, so I didn't really feel like going out. I was going to go to Bit Bar, which is an arcade like restaurant place in Salem, and they had like no cover, and I was totally wanted to go, and I fell asleep at 7 o'clock. And then I woke up and I was like, it's raining and wind. I think I'm gonna stay. So yeah, I just stayed and watched the ball drop with my kids and my girlfriend. So we had a great time. So one of the things that I do on New Year's Eve as a tradition in my culture is we eat 12 grapes. So I was curious, do you two do any kind of traditions on New Year's Eve? We'll start off with Gray.
I don't have any New Year's traditions. My family was never really into it when I was a kid. But when I was in like college and like early mid-20s, I lived with a bunch of Southerners, and they were all about like this very specific New Year's Eve meal or New Year's Day meal. I forget which one it was, with like black-eyed peas and collard greens and something else, like luck and for fortune. And it was like eating specific foods to bring you good luck in the new year.
That's cool.
That's cool. How about you, Jess?
I guess the only tradition really that I have with my family and also with my friends is just to eat Chinese food on New Year's Eve. So yeah, that's typically what I do.
Yeah, I hear that a lot. Yeah. So that's and so the 12 grapes, as Gray mentioned, for us is, I guess, it's to have a wish, and you bring your wish onto those grapes, and then you're supposed to eat those grapes. And the 12 grapes obviously represents each month of the year.
Oh, okay, yeah. That makes sense.
So hopefully the Chinese food also brings you some good luck this year, Jess.
Good luck with heartburn and stuff. That was terrible for a while. Yeah.
So we have in the chat here, Helena says that they forgot that the ball dropped. Yes, that is a tradition that happens on New Year's Eve. The ball drops in New York City, which is pretty cool. And Tech Valor says that New Year's kiss is a tradition. That is very true.
It's true.
Hopefully everyone got to, either not kiss on the lips, but, at least kiss on the cheeks and just bring warmth. Pancho drink. So Des says pancho drinks and tamales at midnight. That's her traditions. That's pretty awesome. It sounds like a really good tradition. And Alex says that that he watches the ball drop every year. Yes, rock on. Awesome. So moving on to, we're now in the new year, 2019. Yay. So I just want to talk about like typical New Year stuff, right? The whole new year, new me, and setting goals. And I feel like you have to have like a certain personality, right? To be able to set these goals for the entire year, however it is that you do. So I wanted to know, Jess, do you have any New Year's resolutions, or do you believe in New Year's resolutions?
Yeah, so I think it's cool for people to have New Year's resolutions if they want to, but I personally don't really believe in the term resolution, at least, because I guess I feel like it's like too demanding in a way, like demanding on like a person. Because if you like set this resolution for yourself and you're just like, oh, I have to do like this, like I have to like, I don't know, like I'll just give some examples. Like I have to eat healthier. That's a pretty common one. Or I have to lose this amount of weight. That's a pretty common one too. If you set those goals, or well, not goals are like, okay, but like resolutions, I guess, is like a really strong term, because yeah, it just like puts so much pressure on yourself, and then like you probably won't get it done. Like every resolution I've set in the past, I haven't gotten done, honestly. So I don't know. I kind of have turned to like the idea of more like promises, I guess, is a good word I like personally. So I don't really have any set in stone yet, but I'm thinking of like some, obviously like just like typical ones, like, like love yourself better or like stuff like that. But yeah, that's my thought on that.
That's awesome. I like that a lot. The New Year's promises.
Yeah.
I guess that does sound, less demanding than like yeah.
But it's cool if people have resolutions too. It's whatever.
How about you, Gray?
Yeah, I think I feel the same way as Jess. Like since I learned what a New Year's resolution was, it seems like a bad plan to me. It doesn't seem like something I want to commit to. Also, like the middle of winter or like the beginning of winter seems like a weird time to like start.
Yeah, true.
As like, I want to stay inside and like indulge in every bad habit I've ever had, and like hibernate for a few months. So I've always used like my birthday as like a reset, and like I'll make like new goals and new commitments then. But for New Year's, I did this year. I bought something called a passion planner, and it's like it's just a what's it called, like a school agenda, but for adults who can't organize themselves. And it starts on January 1st, and it's, I don't know, I like it. It's, you sit with it a few minutes every day, and you like sit down and create, like draw out like all of your goals throughout your whole life, and then like figure out how to strategize each goal into like a manageable process so that you can actually, instead of just saying like, I want to become a doctor, it's like, okay, so what are the steps you need to get there? What can you do in the next 3 months to do that? What can you do in the next year to do that? Things like that. So I am starting that again. I've had one before and I didn't really use it, but this year I got one that's very pretty. So I have high hopes that I will stick with it.
So your New Year's resolution is to work on your passion planner.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's really cool. I haven't heard of that before. And I actually, during school, when I was in school, I did enjoy like the agenda with like all my classes that I could put in, and I used to like color code it. No, I don't do that so much, you know. Like, you know, I have my calendar on my mobile phone, and that's about it. So looking here in the chat, Tech Valor says, "New Year, same me." Yeah. Yeah, I mean, some people's resolution is to maintain or to stay the same. So that's perfectly awesome. And Alex says, "Love yourself better needs to be a motivational poster." Yes, that is right. And Sunlit Life Studio says, "Oof, give me some potatoes." Potatoes are the best. You're absolutely right. So I was wondering, in terms of any resolutions that you've ever done, have any of them ever been to like come out as your true self, or to come out, or to find love? Just, you know, just wondering, or if you have you ever heard of anyone that has happened, and what outcome they've had? And I'll start with Jess.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know. I personally haven't heard of anyone doing that, but I think it's pretty interesting, I guess. I mean, I don't know. When I came out to my family and to my friends and stuff, I didn't really like have a resolution on New Year's or anything, because it didn't really happen around that time, I guess, that I discovered, you know, that I was bi. But I guess if I had discovered around that time, I probably would have made that a resolution at the time. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty interesting. Yeah. I don't super know how I feel about that. It's just like cool, I guess. I don't know. But I feel like the one where you wrote down, or to find love, if that's your New Year's resolution, I don't know. I'm not super into that, because like for me personally, like having a resolution set in stone to like find love, if you don't, like, what if you don't find love that year? Like then you'll be like really sad. So I don't know. I don't know if that would be good for me personally, at least.
How about you, Gray?
Yeah, I don't know if I've ever like set a resolution to like come out or be more myself or anything like that. But it, like, looking back in my head of like the timeline of things, like it could have because I tended to do that coming out thing around like January, February. Yeah, but I can't remember now. It's weird. Like I've never been someone to like write that stuff down. It's just, it feels like if I make a resolution, it feels important on that day, and then I quickly forget about it. So I'm much more like I need to write it down and commit to it. And I don't think I would have ever like written down come out this year. know?
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
Yeah. I was just wondering because it kind of sort of happened to me, but not in the same way. So I can't remember the year, but it was the first time ever that I went Black Friday shopping. I never even knew that there was a thing called Black Friday. And so I went with a friend of mine and her family, and we went to Kohl's. And I was like, oh my goodness, there's a sale. And, maybe at the time it was a really good deal or not. I can't remember. But I was looking at the clothes, and I dressed very, very feminine. And I was like, you know what? If I'm going to spend this money, I'm going to spend it on how I feel. And at the time, I was like, really like trying to find myself. I was young. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to try to, buy more like, stuff in the men's department and see how I felt. And yeah, I remember like I went in to like the dressing room, and it was just like clothes everywhere. And I put on these like baggy jeans, and like I still had like a fitted shirt, and I was just like, oh my gosh, this feels so good. Like it just felt so great. And then I was like, you know what? I think I'm gonna like purchase like, just like a couple of outfits, right? But like when it comes around that time, like the holidays and Christmas and New Year's, it's like when people really like start to like reflect, especially since it feels like, the year is almost ending, and, a lot of people just started doing a lot of reflecting. And I felt like that's how it was for me at the time, just doing a lot of reflecting. And I try to not do New Year's Eve resolutions on New Year's Day because, so many people fail, and I feel like it's a bad omen. So I try to do it like the week before. And so I started dressing more and more that way. And I got some good feedback. When I started to dress more and more the way that I felt more comfortable. So I was just wondering if, yeah, it's just interesting how everyone puts this like big, like, I don't know what's the word to say, like it's like we're all collectively like just reflecting on a new year to come, when we feel like, oh my goodness, we need to like either end something or begin something. But I like the fact, Gray, that you do start it, like do a reset like on your birthday, because that's also a pretty awesome time to be like reflective too.
Yeah.
So in terms of goals, so I just wanted to know, when you start a goal, how do you strategically think about accomplishing a goal? Not so much a New Year's resolution. So I'll start off with Gray.
I mean, like I said, writing it down is a big key for me. If I don't write it down, I forget it instantly. So writing down this like big idea of a goal, and then like the passion planner helps me do, break it down into easy steps, or not easy steps, but just like break it down into the parts of the thing. And then just be really clear with myself about what I need to do to accomplish each of those parts. And like setting deadlines can be helpful. For me, it's like not so helpful right now just because I'm so busy all the time. So I need to like be what's the word, like flexible with my due dates, but
Yeah.
at least having stuff written down and having stuff clearly laid out, with like color coding, all of the organization tricks, that helps me reach my goals. Yeah.
Awesome. That's a pretty good strategy. Now I'm like really curious about this passion planner. Like I'm gonna like, as soon as we get off
I'll bring it
like, oh yeah, I would love to see it. So how about you, Jess? How do you accomplish goals? What's your strategy?
Yeah, I like what Gray said. I tend to do that too. I'm a very organized person in terms of like goal setting, at least in terms of like school and work stuff, I am. But when it comes to like personal stuff, I guess I'm not so much like a goal setter, if that makes sense. But like I'm very much like in two different places with that. Like when it comes to like school and work, I'm very much so like write this down, organize this, do it like right and like perfect and stuff. And like, but then when it comes to personal stuff, I'm just kind of like go with the flow type thing, I guess, if that makes sense.
Yeah. And I wonder why is it? Do you feel like maybe because there's a value place, like when you're working, so you're like getting money, so there's a value there, and then when you're at school, I guess you're spending money, so maybe there's a value there. I don't know. I'm just trying to.
That's true. I mean, I don't know if it's so much about the money for me, but it's more like about the fact that it's like something that could improve or like help my life. But like if as far as like personal goals, like for like example with my mental health or something like that, I'm not so much like into writing them down and stuff because I'm not sure if that'll, you know, like go through the way I'm thinking it's going to go through or like end up the way it's going to end up, you know, like it'll probably end up differently than I'm thinking it's going to end up, you know? So I don't personally like to write stuff down related to my personal life just because it's gonna change like so drastically. Whereas with school and work, it might not change as drastically. Like it'll definitely change, but like not like to the extent that personal stuff changes, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense. And that's really interesting too. I haven't really thought about it that way too.
I haven't really either until just now because Gray made me think about that. So yeah.
Right? Yeah. It's good.
These are good conversations.
Yeah. Yeah. And to get on deep. So Alex asked, do you all have any good strategies for boosting yourself again when you lost steam while working towards your goal? Ooh, who wants to take us, pick at that?
I'll take a gander at this. So for me, I feel like I lose steam a lot. That's a very relatable feeling to me. And I think it sounds weird, but the best thing to do for me that I've found is to like lose steam all the way. Like if I'm losing steam on a goal, it's probably because I need to focus on something else. And like if I'm just finding that I'm not as excited or not as invested, that doesn't have to be a bad thing. It can just be like, okay, I need to move away, do something else, like focus on a different project, like walk a different way to school, whatever it is. And just like give my brain a break from thinking about that thing for a while. And then once I've had a little while, whatever it is, a few days or a couple weeks, go back to it and try to re-strategize so that I can be excited or invested in it again from like a perspective. Like, I can't like force myself through something if I'm not feeling it. So I have to like kind of give it some time and then come back to it and re-figure it out later.
Yeah. I also lose steam a lot, to be honest. Like, so I guess for me, I do like a lot of the same stuff that Gray is talking about, but I guess for me, like I do tend to do the thing where like I'll lose steam like all the way, you know, but that for me usually turns into like listening to music and like crying or something like that, you know, but like I don't know. So it depends on, I guess it depends also on what the goal is that you're losing steam on. So like it depends, you know, exactly what that is and what that means for you, because for everybody it's different. Because some people can, like Gray was saying, like just like push themselves through it, and that's cool too. Like I mean, I guess sometimes I do that too. It kind of depends on the type of goal for me that I'm losing steam on, you know? Sometimes I have to lose the steam all the way, and sometimes I have to just like push through it and just like get through it, and then it'll be better after I'm done with it, you know?
Cool. Yeah, I think this is a great question.
Yeah.
Definitely, because I mean, you know, we all it just happens to us, right? And so I think for me, what helps me get back on track towards my goals is I feel like I have a really great support system. And so like I know that if I feel like I started a goal and I'm starting to like shift away from it, one of the things that does help me is talking out loud. So sometimes I'll talk out loud to myself, not in public, but I will. And then I'll talk to my girlfriend about it because I know that she can be very candid with me and, you know, start asking me questions and pointing myself in the right direction. And if she's not around, then what I like to do is whatever goal I try to set, I'll typically like write down why I'm going to have that. Why am I trying to achieve that goal? So I'll go back to that. Why am I trying to achieve that goal? And then I'll look at a lot of like motivational like videos, like TED Talks or something like that. So one of the things that I started doing was yoga. And for me, that goal was, I just have a lot of stress. And, most people, when they think about yoga, they think it's like, really corny and, like trying to find enlightenment. Some people try think of it as like a joke or something like that. But I actually started to look up the science behind it. And then I feel like that's what really motivated me to start doing yoga. So whenever I feel like, oh, I don't want to do yoga, I'll rewatch like that YouTube, like TED Talk or science video about it. I'm like, okay, I have to remember that, in the end, it's going to help me, even though like I might be tired right now. So Ashley says, exercise helps my stress and anxiety so much. I feel you. Yeah. And right. Cause it's like almost like a body thing, like stress is really, even though like you don't see it, it's so physical. It's crazy sometimes. So does anyone, if anybody wants to chime in the chat, they totally can. And if they have any more questions for us, we would love to answer them. So I'm going to move on to the next topic, and we can totally go back to this one if you like. So in terms of 2019, and this has nothing to do with goals, just I want to know, what are you excited for? What are you looking forward to for this year? It could be entertainment wise, it can be something personal. So Gray, let's start off with you. What are you excited about for 2019?
I am very excited to graduate. Yeah. And what else? That's really the big thing. I might try to like go on a little trip to see friends on the West Coast, like after I graduate in the summer sometime, just because I haven't really been able to go anywhere for a few years while I've been working on this degree. What else? I want you to know, Mia, that your question last live inspired me. So in my passion planner, one of my goals that I'm working on is establishing a morning routine that I feel good about. That helps. So that's also something that I'm going to be working on this year.
Awesome. How about you, Jess?
I guess I'm really excited to continue with school because I'm in a grad program right now. I really enjoy it. It's like really fun actually. And I'm going away for that tomorrow to do residency for school. So I'm really excited for that and for just the semester in general, and the next year. Because, so it's not this year that I'll graduate, but it'll be, it's not this year that I'll graduate, but it's next year. I'm just like trying to like think it out in my head. So I have this coming semester, then 2 more semesters after that. But it's a good time, I really enjoy it. So I'm just going to put my focus into school and my focus into nAGLY and stuff like that. So yeah.
Awesome.
Friends.
That's exciting. So what I'm excited about for 2019 is totally superficial because I'm so excited for Game of Thrones to come back. I've just been waiting. So waiting for that. So I'm waiting for that. And I'm also waiting for, I just found out that Stranger Things 3 is coming on July 4th, and I love that show so much. So I'm really excited about that Netflix show. And I am excited for Kingdom Hearts 3 because I have been waiting since I was 19, 20, when this 2 came out, and I was 15, 14 when the first one came out. So, and I'm 31 now, so I am old and I have been waiting. So that's like, for me, 2019 has just been on my mind. I've just like been dutifully like waiting for it. And then that's where I feel like once those things come along, then I'll be at peace. Like for me, that's just like
That's your enlightenment.
yes, I'll be good. Yes, in fact, Valor says he was really good. So yeah, it's entertainment wise. Are you two looking forward for anything?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I can think of like one thing off the top of my head because I super like this show called Disenchantment on Netflix. It's really funny. So I guess they're coming out with a new season soon, I've heard. So probably I think they're coming out with new Rick and Morty's too, like Rick and Morty episodes rather. Not Rick and Morty's, just like more of them. But yeah, more episodes of that. So yeah, that should be good.
Awesome. How about you, Gray? Any entertainment-wise that you're excited about for this season?
I know that I'm excited for the movie Us to come out. It's the next one by Jordan Peele, like a kind of like a sequel to Get Out from last year.
Oh, that was really good. That was really good.
Yeah, so like Us, and it looks really cool. I'm looking forward to that.
I didn't know about that. Now I have something else to be excited about. I'm excited for Disenchantment and Us. So Sunlit Light said, "Can I play too?" Yes. So yeah, and I don't know. It'd be cool if I could like stream it. I don't know if you guys can hear. But there's like half background.
Yep.
Kids are screaming there, but it's screams of joy. So I'm not bothered by it. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe if I don't know if I could stream it on this live, but it'd be cool. I'll have to look up and see the terms and agreements, and because we can't share anything that's copyright. So I think that is all that I wanted to discuss tonight. I'm so happy for everyone that is in the chat. Thank you so much for joining us. And so I think we can start off with our signature sign off. And I just need to bring up my doc so I can remember what that is. All right.
Yeah.
And so, and don't forget to like this video. And if you can subscribe to our channel, that'll be great too. And thank you again so much for joining us. And we'll end it off with Gray.
This is nAGLY.
And remember,
you are loved.